Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Feed Me Pixels review and recommendation series. I'm your host today, Larry the Chupacabra, and today we're going to be checking out Plantera, which is a game created and published by Virag P, which is a group that has created a click-oriented farming simulator / cute and adorable little RPG, and it's a very low asking price of only $3, and it can be pretty relaxing. So the gameplay then for Plantera, as you might imagine from a farming simulator, well, it involves starting your very own farming empire, but you don't really have a lot to start out with. All you've got is a rucksack over your back and a few meager coins in order to start purchasing plants in order to grow things so that you can then harvest them for individual sums of money. And the farming then is split up into four primary categories. The first is you've got ground plants, which take up the first layer of your screen. The second is bushes, where you can grow wonderful things like strawberries and blueberries. Then you have large blooming trees that create things like peaches and pears and all the things we've come to know and love from large plantations. And then the last little piece of category is you can fill your farm with wondrous little assortments of friendly chickens and cows and pigs and sheep and all sorts of things in order to keep you company and to produce a wide variety of goods and services that you could potentially sell to the local townsfolk or some figmentary people that are purchasing these things after you pick them up by clicking on them in order to make your money. Now, life is not all apples, daisies, gumdrops, and the occasional apple pie. No, your farm is full of all sorts of nasty critters that want to get at your stock and eat it so that you can't make any money on it. These things range from rabbits, which, as I'm sure you would imagine, are the biggest fans of things like carrots and potatoes, and they range all the way up to things like wolves and foxes that want to eat and or steal the produce of your various animals. So you've constantly got to be on the lookout for all of these different vermin in order to bop them on the noggin to make them flee off into the woods, or in this case, click them enough times that they scream and run away, in order to make sure that you don't miss out on any wonderful produce. And unfortunately, you can't quite bop the fox hard enough to make a pair of fox skin slippers, but I can still dream, right? So the gameplay is pretty simple and it's pretty relaxing and it keeps you busy because there's always something that needs to be bopped on the noggin to be picked up and sent to town for sale. And you always got to be on your toes because while you do get different helpers, they can only help with so much before they get overwhelmed. Their AIs are not quite that advanced, but there's always something new to unlock. There's always something new to plant and to explore and to expand your facility. So it'll keep you busy for around 1 to 2 hours, and that's about where it pans out and you start to run out of stuff to do. There's not really a story in Plantera to speak of. There is this kind of cute introductory sequence where you're having a nice snooze in a meadow, and you're envisioning your wonderful utopian farm empire and all the things that it can contain, and then, well, you awaken from your slumber to find that, well, you're getting started with your very own farm. You just bought your first plot of land, and you haven't even planted anything yet, and that's really the only sort of information that you're given. And you gotta go out into the world and hire helpers and expand your farm and buy seeds and trees and bushes, and so that's about all you're given as far as story, and it's kind of just a game where you give it to yourself, or maybe you buy it for your kids and you kick back and you just relax and just accept things as they are and don't think about it too much. So the graphics of Plantera are not exactly something I would necessarily write home about, but they are very cute and they're very simple and they're very minimalist, but there are quite a few details. And I'd almost say that it's somewhat hand illustrated in a digital sort of way that makes it really fun and bright and colorful, and it fits the theme of an almost like a kids-based or a kids-themed farming simulator that you can just play around in for a couple of hours and then restart and just mess around with it again and try different combinations of plants. And to sort of go along with that fun and simple theme, they've got some really nice, relaxing audio that goes along with the game. They got a nice background soundtrack that you can also purchase separately for the game that you can take with you to work to just pop on to your ear holes and just kick back and relax and get some stuff done. So the verdict for Plantera is it's a fun, relaxing game for your average casual player, and I would also say definitely a game that you could buy for very young children that offers not necessarily a huge depth of challenge, but it will definitely keep you busy because the farm and the various vermin and nuisances that you have to bop on the noggin to scare away grows exponentially with the size of your facilities and your farm hands and all of the different plants that you have planted. And you'll definitely get at least 1 to maybe 3 hours of gameplay out of it, and for the asking price of $2.99, $3, I think that's fairly reasonable, especially if you're looking for a game to keep your kids busy for a few hours after school, or maybe on the weekends, or maybe just knocking around and taking a break in the middle of the day. Who knows? So that's it for this one, ladies and gentlemen. I've been your host, Larry the Chupacabra. If you like the stuff that I do and want to see more of it, I've got a channel over on my own little portion of YouTube. Just look me up, Larry Space Chupacabra, or hit the link in the description below. And be sure to check out feedmepixels.com, where we've got a bunch of different game reviews, game articles, game news, and we also have a whole host of fun and entertaining Let's Players and streamers that do all sorts of hilarious hijinks, so be sure to subscribe below, check out the website, and I will catch you guys and gals later. Toodles, everybody!